Hey everyone, let's make our first ever homemade toasted Bourye 101. So unofficially, I have mixed a bourbon and a rye before, but never a toasted bourbon and a toasted rye. So this is my first official homemade toasted Bourye 101, and the 101 is for the combined proof. This is the way it's going to work. So this Nulu toasted small batch bourbon, 108 proof. I just reviewed it in a previous video. This was a great pickup, and I don't even want to say this too loud because I think that this thing is ridiculously priced in a good way. $29.99 with a second toasted barrel and 108 proof. Ridiculous. I have to get another one. I almost am afraid to say that I think this is actually underpriced because this thing drinks so much higher than its price. But I'm going to have to pick another one up. So this is really fantastic. This one is not really priced that well, but not that bad either. It's the Elijah Craig Toasted Rye, another kind of a recent one, not that old. 94 proof. Now, ideally, I guess it would make sense to do an Elijah Craig Toasted bourbon and an Elijah Craig Toasted Rye. That's a little boring. It's like kind of the same thing. I also don't have the Elijah Craig bourbon now. When I had it the first time, I kind of wasn't that thrilled with it. But I might want to come back to it now because I'm kind of gotten on a toasted kick here. Not much of a rye drinker, but I do like this toasted rye. Is really not bad. So we're going to mix these two together. I think there's more toasted influence on the flavor in this Nulu than this, but they both have it. So I think this might be interesting since these are the two I have. I'm going to do these two right now. So the Nulu Toasted Small Batch Bourbon is 108 proof. It's aged 4 to 6 years and then finished in toasted barrels 1 to 4 weeks. This is, I don't have the mash bill on this. This I do have the mash bill on, and this is a key part. This is just makes it as a rye, as a straight rye whiskey. It's 51% rye, 35 corn, 14 malted barley. Don't have the mash bill on this, but what I can tell you is that this barely being a rye and this fully being a bourbon, I think there's going to be leaning more to the bourbon category, more the toasted bourbon, more sweetness, less spice, certainly a lot of toast. And what this is going to be combined, I'm going to do a pour in a Glencairn, 1 ounce each, a 2 ounce pour, half and half. So do the math, that's going to be 101 proof. That's why we're calling it a homemade toasted Bourye 101. Let's pour it up right now. 1 ounce Nulu. 1 ounce Elijah Craig toasted rye. So we have this poured up. Look at this color. I think this dark color maybe coming a little bit more from the rye. I've seen some ryes. Forget about the Jack Daniel's barrel proof single barrel rye. That's really dark. It may be coming a little bit more from that. It's beautiful dark color. So we got 1 ounce of each. 1 ounce Nulu, 1 ounce Elijah Craig. Homemade toasted Bourye 101. Let's give this a nose. Wow, that's really some really sharp, rich aroma there. All right, let's give our homemade toasted Bourye 101 a taste. Cheers. That's very, very good. Total toast, heavy on the toast, of course. I'm trying to think which is pulling in more of the weight here. Each is doing its part. I mean, this is clearly, I don't know what the mash bill is. I don't know what the rye content was. This was just like maple syrup, but I'm getting some of the rye spice from this. Total heavy dose of toast. Just one-on-one, I thought the Nulu had a little more heavier toast than the Elijah Craig, but combined, oh my gosh. This actually makes me want to possibly now buy the Knob Creek Bourbon Rye Bourye. I think there's more rye in that, I'm not sure. This is I'm probably liking this because aside from the toasted, I think this is leaning a little bit more in the bourbon, a little bit more in the sweet category, being this is only 51% rye, and this is clearly a bourbon. But that one I think may be more in the rye, so it might be different. But, you know, this is actually a cool experiment. You can try this with, get some toast. I mean, you can try this with non-toasted. Just try a bourbon and a rye and do it as well. But a toasted is very interesting, actually. It's a nice combination. The toast, the sweetness, and the spice, all three make a really nice pour. And a nice proof at 101 proof. This is actually really good. I think I should just bottle this. You can try this with any combination you want. I think this is a really good combination right here, but certainly worth experimenting at home. But our homemade toasted Bourye 101, a real success. Cheers.